What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi with my man Eric Sheets Haver. We're going to be talking a little baseball today. Feels good to have a big baseball slate back. We won't, we don't have that many more, so we got to make the most of them. Sheets, I know you don't care how big the slate is because you won everything yesterday.
I've won it all.
That's hilarious. Well, awesome. Congratulations. Great job. I'm definitely feeling the heat to catch up with you and Rody a little bit. Rody just seems to be in it every week for the NFL. I actually had a decent-ish NFL week, but didn't quite, just some good, some lines that almost got there, not almost got a million. But Rody wins the big ones on Sunday, and you win all the baseball slates. So it's time for.
Did he end up winning? Did he even end up winning on Sunday?
I don't know where he ended up. Really, I
don't think so.
If you're coming close to winning the big tournament,
that's good enough.
It's you know what I mean. They're going to break through at some point.
Yeah.
But how are you doing today? And great job yesterday. And
I'm telling you, and that's part of the reason why I did that is because again, I don't want to come off the wrong way. I mean, I obviously do this to make money, whatever. But my main motivation is kind of like to figure this stuff out, and just kind of play the slates. And yesterday it was a FanDuel slate. It was the day of a also day of a showdown slate in the NFL. The prize pools for this FanDuel showdown. This FanDuel slate was like nothing. Like the monster was like 1,500. The other one was like 1,000. The slam was like 1,000. And so all the experts, just took the day off, right? I mean, it makes sense, right? They all took the day off. I'm like, S all these people. I just did just as much work on it. I put in one freaking key lineup. I played basically everything, including all those satellites, which I always ignore. And the thing won like almost everything. The only thing it didn't win was the squeeze that had 150 max or something like that.
Yeah.
And that I won it with like a 15-point performance from my pitcher. So it was on FanDuel. So I was totally psyched, and I put in like 1,500, got back like 4,200 or something like that. Really, really psyched about it. And you know what? Something's got to pay for these other baseball slates. So that's good.
Yeah, I feel like I keep ending up a day off, and obviously it's different with different pitchers and everything, but you really do stack situations. And if you have like equal pitchers on Sunday, right? The first notifications I get right after the football starts, and Sheets is reminding everybody on the show, hey, you guys should be, everybody's playing football, should be playing baseball today. And then right then it's Corey Seager home run, Justin Turner, literally the guys who I just staple in my lineups every single baseball slate. Going nuts. I'm just like, oh my God. Right. Anyway, well, let's get into this slate. Why don't you bring up your screen and we will go through some of this. I'm not going to get into overall takes because I want to go through it before I really have my whole takes done. There's a lot of ways to go on this slate. That's my first take. Real shocking.
I think we really do have to, and this is a Bobby question. I think we really do have to really hone in on which teams are playing for what and which teams are doing what, and who's Cy Young, and
right.
Who's going to be let roll. Let's roll. Right.
Who's getting rested because they aren't going to throw 120 pitches? Does that hurt them, or does it help them in some sense because they might need them to throw 120 pitches? So yeah, we've got some guys like that definitely fit the bill on this slate. So let's start it off with an interesting situation.
Oh my God. We have. I'm looking at the standings here. What a war in the AL East.
Oh, it's a monster. Yeah.
AL East. I don't know whether I'm going to be going to Boston to watch the playing game there, or basically watching Red Sox and Blue Jays on TV. I don't. Right. It could be anything.
My daughter, by the way, just went to her first Red Sox game at Fenway, and of course it was the Red Sox Yankees last week, and she just thought it was awesome. Like it was just, she was the one thing she said, she was surprised that it was 50-50 fan wise. And the Red Sox fans these days, I think, have changed since we were younger. They're used to being the ones on top so much that it's almost like there's a little more of a feeling of indifference and less hostility, less little brother syndrome for the Yankees. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. But jumping into this game, I still don't know if officially we're going to have Zimmerman as the pitcher for Baltimore. I'm not sure it matters all that much who they're going to throw out there unless his name is Means. Boston, Sale is going to be a tough one to decide what to do with for me. We've seen the same story over and over again. Everybody says play him and all this, and 70 pitches, 80 pitches. Even in that, he can still get there, but they don't need to save him for this season. Now that you could argue for saving him for his career, they need to win this game. I don't know what to expect exactly from Sale today. He's on my list, but he's not my number one guy. I feel a little bit concerned about it, and I feel very, very heavily onto the Boston bats against whether it be Zimmerman or whoever else they're going to throw out there in that horrible bullpen for a while. Also, on top of it, Boston is feels a little bit underpriced for the slate, especially if they put a lefty out there. So I'm very high on Boston tonight, and less high on Sale, but still Sale is on my list.
Look, Sale's, certainly in play, but I'll tell you from an overall slate perspective, I mean, I'm looking at my sheet here, and the pitchers are just, I can honestly play 10 pitchers. I mean, I am, and we talked about this offline with respect to like NFL and stuff like that, how certain slates are just more conducive to fading in certain positions, and certain, slates are different like that. And I think this is a perfect slate to just almost like just dart pick the least owned of your favorite of the 10 pitchers. You know what I mean? And Sale, if he's going to just get the ownership, he's just going to be faded. It's the way it's going to be. He's had a couple of starts with Baltimore with from moderate to terrible success. And you've been on, this idea that lefties against Baltimore is not exactly the easiest thing in the world, and so I'm probably on the Sale fade train. If it becomes popular, which I don't know if he's going to, but we'll think about that. And from the hitting side, yeah, Boston's one of the top 3 stacks for sure. For me, on both sites, no matter how you want to rank these things, whether you're going against Zimmerman or the bullpen or whatever, obviously Boston's in play.
Yeah, the only thing I would just point out to say people about Sale that you should be kind of alarmed. I mean, Baltimore has had some bad, strikeout games against lefties, so it's not like it'll never happen. But he pitched 5 innings and he had 1 strikeout the last time they faced each other. I don't know if I've ever seen Chris Sale do that. So I'm a little more. We're basically on the same page on this one. I'm very high on Boston though. I have Boston probably ahead of teams that are projected to score more runs, or I have them significantly ahead of teams that people are going to think the same. I don't think that's anything earth shattering, but I'm surprised when I first look at some of the plays that I actually think the projections are a little low on Boston. That's how high I like them tonight. So, so we got Tyon and Ryu. I don't think there is anything I'm going to do with this game, just in reality. I think that everything is fine. I think if you want to play some Blue Jays, that's fine. It's just, there's a huge slate. For me, it's not nothing gravitates towards me feeling like I need to play this. Obviously we could say the Yankees against, Ryu, but Ryu's a really good pitcher in general. I personally am just inclined to sort of stay away from this game. And you'll hear that from me a lot today, because there are certain spots I really want to target.
I am not getting to any of this, whether it be, it's so funny. I have like a zillion pitchers listed, and a decent certain amount of hitting situations, and I have none of this game.
Let's move on then. I mean, obviously, with all that said, you can always play a one-off from either side. There's massive power. These are the home run teams in the major leagues, and there's nothing wrong with taking a one-off of any of them, basically. But really, Vlad, Stanton, Judge. When Stanton gets hot, I always say that though. When Stanton does get hot, he tends to get really, really hot, and he's pretty hot right now. So, but yeah, I think that we're better off moving on. Well, this is a really interesting game from a pitching perspective. And this is talk about being bunched up. These guys are fighting it out for the NL East, and they have no chance at the playoffs other than that. I like both pitchers a lot. So these guys would rank ahead of Sale for me. I probably would lean towards Wheeler. I think the projections on him are a little bit low, only as they both have the same K prop in this matchup. But Wheeler is one of those guys. He can go out there and get hit for an inning or two and still he just works. He doesn't walk people. He's around the plate. It's an Atlanta team that's really good, but when a pitcher's that exceptional, I'll overlook it a little bit. I like both these guys is basically the long and the short of it.
Yeah. So I have both Wheeler and Morton on my list. And again, I not to hedge or not to do whatever, but I just don't know who I like the most on the slate.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's really going to come down to ownership for me, but I do like both of them. I like Wheeler and I like Morton, and I don't have either of the pitcher, either of the hitting environments circled at all.
Yep, same. We have Detroit and Minnesota here, and I don't know why we don't have a run total yet. I guess I got to do a little more research of whether Farrell's really starting. I think that Minnesota is super interesting. Buxton, Rooker is the cheap guy at the bottom you can play. Sano is a fair price, even though I tend to like him better against lefties. I'm sorry, against righties. Mitch Garver as a catching option, Josh Donaldson, both sites, and Polanco. I feel like this is a reasonable stack here, and I think this is a kind of, we want to try and attack the teams with the bullpens, that the teams that'll occasionally give up those 10 to 15 run games, and Detroit qualifies. So I'll have to do a little more weather digging and anything like that, see if there's any extra edge I'm getting here. But I think that Minnesota is really interesting, and they're high on my list, actually.
Neither of the pitchers involved here at all, and I completely with you. I have Minnesota as right now. I have them rated 4th, so they're just completely in play for me. Is this the? I keep getting all the Alexanders and all this stuff confused. Is this the guy we're not supposed to play against, or is this the guy we can play against? Or I guess it doesn't matter.
Who are you mixing? I don't know who the other guy is.
I don't know. I get confused sometimes.
Yeah.
There's guys. Are there 2 Tyler Alexanders, or is there?
There's Scott Alexander. I mean, like, Alexander in general hasn't given up as much power as some of the other Detroit guys. He also doesn't usually last more than 4 or 5 innings, but he does. I mean, it's not like he's given up no power, but he's been decent enough at keeping it in. I think they're interesting. I mean, they're below Boston for me, but I'm not afraid of picking on him. The guy's had like one good start this season, and you have that horrible bullpen behind him, and you have enough guys who crush lefties over here that I'm gonna have some interest. So I do like the Minnesota side a lot.
So Buxton, Donaldson,
Garver.
Do we like Sano?
A little less against lefties. I'd prefer, like he would further on down my list, but he's fine. Rooker's just really cheap. I would use Rooker anyway, whether I'm stacking or not. But I do like Minnesota as, they're probably going to be in my top 5 by the end of this. We'll see.
Okay.
All right. Milwaukee and St. Louis. I am not going to get to Adam Wainwright today. Milwaukee is they kind of lit him up the other day, and I just think there's enough other pitchers with too much strikeout upside to play him at 9K. Maybe you could argue for it. He's got a 4.5K prop. You're dealing with guys all in the 6+ range. I think Woodruff is a really solid play. Now they have nothing to play for, so you don't get the 110 pitches probably, but you're getting 90 to 100. I think almost for sure. You want him to be in good form going into the postseason. Should make one more start before the year ends. And I think you're going to look at that 90 to 100 range. I think he feels safe. I think there's upside with him. High on my list for sure. I think that Wheeler and Morton are completely fine pivots. I think Woodruff does end up being a little bit more owned. And again, it's a tough matchup, it's a matchup that used to be an easy matchup that over the last month has become a very tough matchup against St. Louis. But I like Woodruff here. That's pretty much all I'm doing this game.
Is there a Cy Young race going on?
Yeah. I can look up the odds right now. I didn't have all that information right away, but let me see.
I mean, like Wheeler, Woodruff, guys like this. I don't even know.
I think that it's going to be Scherzer anyway, but.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure. I mean, if these guys are all pretty close, I think that, and I mean, one of the 3 Dodger pitchers, every one of them has a reasonable claim to it. I'll get that information later, and we'll have it by later. I just don't. It's hard to have a spot sometimes.
I'm just wondering how much Woodruff.
No, it's a good point. You're 100%.
And one other thing, did St. Louis clinch yesterday? I think they were mathematically close going into.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a situation where a rolling team is going to make. I don't think they're going to throw out their worst. They'll probably maybe they put up 1 or 2 of the young guys. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think I just asked. Okay, so I have Woodruff as one of my guys. I'm probably not going to get to him because people play him, and I'm not going to get him at low ownership. So I'm probably not going to end up playing him. I mean, I'll play him if in some of my MME builds or whatever if I get to him. But in the stuff that I kind of create on my own, I probably am not going to have him. That's just the way it's going to have to be. The hitting, I didn't get to Milwaukee, and I didn't get to St. Louis either.
All right. You want to start off the next one as I dig a little bit further into exactly where the race stands, because it's been shifting quite a bit.
Yeah. So I like this a little bit. So I have, as usual, the Angels as my second ranked stack on the board. As they always are.
Loves the Angels.
As they always are. Dude, always scored 14 runs in their last game. Not bad. I should probably be playing against them, right?
Yeah.
That was on was that Sunday or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the Angels here, and I also I like Alexi a little bit also on the other side of this. I don't know if you need it or whatever it is, but he's in my pile of pitchers that all rank kind of close to me as far as values go. So if I want to pay up for hitting at some point, like play a bunch of Bostons or maybe play Colorados or whatever, I honestly I'm going to consider something like this, just to let everybody know. So I do like Alexi, and I do like the Angels on the other side.
Yeah, it's interesting because honestly, this big, it is interesting to sort of like see both sides of it. I don't like the Angels at all. But I do think that prices, I'm not going to say you won't find one in my lineup just based on price alone. Pretty much the worst hitters park in baseball. So they're not even getting a park upgrade really. I'm assuming the roof is closed, but if it's open, maybe it gets a little bit more, it's a little bit better. I think Alexi is interesting, but do we really want to be doing this with all these guys in this slate who are going to?
No, probably not.
Like that's the only thing. But then at the same time, the Angels, like, I'm sort of stuck a little bit with that one, to be honest with you. I think the Angels in Texas can offer you some value. Jared Walsh should be probably number one for the Angels. For Texas, they actually have priced up a little bit higher. Unless DJ Peters is in the middle of the lineup, he would be the one guy I would probably look at. I just don't feel very excited about this game in general, so I'm going to probably stay away from it. But Alexi's on my list. Like if I'm going to make 150, I would play him. I just don't think I'm going to get to him. And I think he's actually going to be he's going to pick up some steam, in my opinion.
I think so?
Yeah, I do. This is an interesting next game because so Ronaldo Lopez has, been coming back from an injury this season and they just sort of have been taking it easy with him. They didn't really need him. I also think that maybe there was some people think they're down on him and everything. I'll tell you what, I think this guy has still got really, really good stuff. He's got a 5K prop. He's 7,300, but if we're going to talk about a guy like Alexi, we probably should be mentioning his name. He gets to go up against Cincinnati on the road, which they're not nearly the same hitting team on the road. They're very similar to Colorado that way. I don't think there's anything I'm going to end up probably doing here. I think you could make a really good case, especially because you have a young pitcher, and then you've got the White Sox who are really expensive, going to be extremely low owned. And you've got one of the 5 worst bullpens in baseball that they're going up against, basically. I'm probably not going to get to as high. I'm really targeted more on Boston and Minnesota from the games we've talked about so far. But you could definitely talk me into a White Sox stack, especially guys like Moncada has been struggling, so his price is down. But Eloy's 4K also. Their prices they're reasonable everywhere outside of Robert and Tim Anderson. And then you've got Grandal, who makes for a lot of sense as a catching option. So I actually think that they're an interesting team, but I don't think people are going to go there because of their prices. And I think they're probably just on the outside looking in for me.
So I have the White Sox as like my 5th or 6th ranked stack, which certainly puts them up in the list. And I have Lopez lurking as kind of an ugly play that I might include if he's the 1% guy. I don't know. But I would like to say again, you know what? This is for all those people that say I don't care about the games, I don't care about sports or whatever it is. But I was watching a game yesterday, and because I had all this action on this stupid FanDuel slate or whatever it is, and we've talked about him throughout the course of the season. Dude, let me tell you something. There are 2 home runs that I literally were just in awe of when I actually saw them since I've been doing DFS. One of them was like 2 years ago when Trevor Story hit a ball with one hand, 500 feet. Okay, out of course, it was his 3rd home run in 3 swings. All right. The other one was just to cap off a ridiculous comeback season from a fantasy perspective. Joey Votto in his 2nd home run yesterday hit the ball 7 million miles. I've never seen anything like this. I think they actually said it was his hardest hit ball of his career, coming off his bat. And considering how well he's been hitting this year, that's saying something. Dude, he almost hit it out of the whole freaking stadium. So good for him. I mean, he announced at the beginning of the season that I'm getting with the program. I'm changing my exit block. I'm changing my launch angle, whatever it is. And dude, it's just he definitely gets fantasy DFS comeback player of the year. I don't know what his actual numbers are, but whatever it is, I mean, like he's just killing it. So I'm probably going to play him just out of respect, like every game until the end of the season. But in any case, I do like, I mean, Lopez is in the player pool, and the White Sox, they're always on my list, but I think that they're near the top as well, like probably like 50%.
Maybe you do like a little 2-man with Votto and Schrock, and because you're not eating up the strongest positions with those guys, then you get the value from Schrock, which evens out the thing. The only thing that pissed me off about the Schrock situation was this guy. I had him the other day, and I had him probably in 20 some odd percent of my lineups, and he hits a home run and all that. And then they pinch hit for him, which I just can't get. I can't stand it. I understand it's a lefty, whatever, they come in, but they pinch hit your catcher for him. I love Schrock's price. He's too cheap, and I think maybe you're on it. Votto has been incredibly hot and certainly looks good, so I can get behind that. I'm actually surprised Cincinnati's run total is expected to be so low. Really good bullpen for the White Sox, but still, it's kind of weird. Tampa Bay and Houston, I am going to just completely probably cross this game off. I think you could make an argument for just some individual bats where they're trying to get into shape. But honestly, they kind of raised all the prices on these guys. So I don't really know on the Houston side. And then Tampa, like, who knows what's going to happen with anybody? Like, I mean, sure. And Urquidy's good. So I think it's just a stay away for me.
So listen, I'm going to be sweating for my Yankees, and you're going to be sweating for your Dodgers, but this is going to be the World Series. This is what it's going to be.
Can't be the World Series.
I mean, whatever you call it, the
ALCS.
Yeah. I mean, these are. And probably, I mean, I think these are probably the two best teams, but whatever.
Are you being serious? Wait, that has to be a joke. Houston has the softest schedule in baseball. I don't think Houston's in the same breath as either team in the NL West. Like, I don't think Houston's one of the best 5 or 6 teams in baseball. I think that they're probably more in the 8-9 range personally. But I mean, you look at their lineup, it's a lot of names here. Nobody does anything except for Alvarez. Like, I mean, not really, but like, I mean, who are we really afraid? Like, Jake Myers and Siri and McCormick, while I like these guys, like, look at who they're talking about platooning. The Dodgers have their 12th hitter was an all-star this season, Chris Taylor. You know what I mean? Like, they can't even get him in the game. I don't know if I can't agree with that. I can agree with Tampa. I can definitely understand the Tampa Bay argument. I am not gonna defend the cheaters in Houston though. Sorry.
No, I hear you. You ain't cheating, you ain't trying, Belichick. So I have literally not a shred of interest in this game either. Actually, that's not true. I do have like I'm not even kidding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My 11th pitcher is Urquidy. That's what I got. Yeah. That's all I got from this game. So basically, it means I have nothing.
Yep. I think it's this cross off for me. Moving over to Cleveland and Kansas City.
My MVP in this game.
Brady Singer.
Yep.
Finally, who would have thought we were playing just a couple of weeks ago. We were playing Brady Singer like 5K, and now he's 8,300. Having said all that, there's no way I'm playing either of these guys, and I don't have a particular interest in stacking against them. But I don't think it's wrong. Savali with the blah. I don't know. Just not going to do it today, personally.
Singer's my 3rd ranked pitcher on DraftKings, and my number.
Are you serious?
My number 1 pitcher on FanDuel.
Are you serious, man? What's going on?
I don't know.
It is Cleveland again. I mean, this is.
I don't know whether I'm just living and dying in fancy play syndrome mode. I don't know, but that's just I'm kind of praying for the end of the season. Hope I get a nice lucky day yesterday. I got a nice lucky showdown slate. Hopefully they don't hopefully the reality doesn't catch up to me before the end of the season, I suppose. But that's where it is. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have any of the hitting from either side. And now Ramirez and Reyes can just destroy him for 6 home runs with me having money on him. So that's where it is.
So I caught leading into our next game. I mean, this is not a guy obviously we're considering playing, but sort of along the mold. Like I said, how many times this season you're going to get some game winners out of Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, so annoying.
And he's put up like 4 of them in the last 10 starts. Nothing incredible. but I don't expect that to happen today.
No.
I also think this is a weird spot because I've been on for a while, everyone was saying like Freeland, you can't play anybody against Freeland. He's much better than you think. And I was saying, no, he's not as good as you think, but he's actually better than he was priced and projected earlier this season. So this leaves me in a weird spot because I want to target both of these teams. Patrick Corbin has basically been given up the most power of anybody this season. I think you're looking at playing these really cheap Rockies, and it's going to be hard to not have at least some exposure, whether you stack them or not. Specifically, Story, Cron, and Hampson are just all significantly too cheap for who they are. But the whole team, I mean, throw everybody in there. I don't, you've got Jonathan Diaz and Colton Walker. Who knows how they shake the lineup out today? And then I'm always excited to get a guy like Juan Soto. I don't care about the lefty for Soto. But just as a single play, I'm a little lower on the Washington stack than I am on the Rocky stack, obviously, but I still think that they're in play. It's just hard to figure out how to do it because I don't want to pay this price for Escobar for sure. That would be a mistake. It'd be a mistake to play that for Mercer, who might get 2 at bats. Lane Thomas, it's the highest we've ever seen him priced at. Keyboom, I can get behind a little bit of that. I don't know. It's not an easy team to stack, which means we probably should find a way to get it into some lineup. But I just think I have Colorado, Minnesota, and Boston as my top 3 so far that we've talked about. And I don't know if I'm going to end up really getting to much of the Washington side. How about you, Sheets?
Yeah, I got Washington like 5th or something like that.
Easier on FanDuel, maybe? I don't know.
4th on FanDuel, 5th on DraftKings. Okay. And I got Colorado ranked number 1 on both sides. I'll throw in this guy. I don't even know who he is, but he's a righty at 2,200. Guy Colton Welker.
Yeah, I said Welker and Daza should be back in the lineup, but they're 2.2 and 2.3. I
mean, and Story's good for 2 home runs in this game. It's like I think Colorado is obviously like everybody's gonna play him. I imagine.
Yep.
And this is one of the reasons why look, if you play Sale and you play Woodruff, I wouldn't play Colorado. I would only play Colorado with crap like who do we say?
But you don't need to go cheap to play them. It's only
I know it's like annoying, but you could play like what you could do is you could play like a bunch of the Colorados with kind of like crappy pitchers and then do like one-off expensive guys, maybe like Guerrero or somebody like that.
Yeah, Guerrero or Soto on the other side of this game.
Yeah, well, Soto for sure. And yeah, I like what you said about Soto. I don't really care about the lefty at all with him. So Colorado and Washington obviously in play. Just as with all Coors games, it's a question of how you want to put your ownership in there. Like yesterday in a 2-game slate, Colorado pretty much, I won't say busted, but they were that game didn't do as well as it could have. I mean, the Seattle Oakland game outscored them. So and I have no interest in Corbin. I have no interest in Freeland.
Yeah. All right, let's move over to Arizona, San Francisco. I'll tell you what, if this game was outside of San Francisco, I would be all over it. I would be playing San Francisco everywhere, even though it goes against my Dodgers, including Logan Webb being, I think, an awesome play as a pitcher. He's faced Arizona a few times this year. I got to double check how those have fared, but Logan Webb, it's kind of time like we give this guy a little bit of respect. Like he's been really, really, really good. Like I don't mean just like an average. He's basically been as good as these guys we're talking about at 96 to 10K for the second half of the season, maybe even better actually than some of those guys. And he's got to face the Dodgers multiple times a year. He's got to pitch in Coors. He does get Arizona. I like Logan Webb. I have him as one of the pitchers I'm high on today. One of my top 4. And I think that I would take that K prop of 5.5 of his. That's one of my favorite bets of the day. 5.5 it seems a little too low, so I think Logan Webb strikes out seven guys tonight. And I am just struggling with whether or not on a slate like this, if I can actually bring myself to play a giant stack. I think that it's especially like these aren't cheap either. I don't know. So I probably am not going to be able to get to the giant stack. But I think, Tommy La Stella is reasonable at 3.8. They're all fine. Every player I could name is a good play. I just don't think I'm going to be able to get to it on this size of slate.
Yeah, I got Logan Webb in there. I have him, one of that crew. And if he becomes the ignored guy, I'll play him. And I guess if people are watching this for the first time, they're like, "Oh, the Sheets dude, he freak just plays everybody." But this is not the way it usually is. It's just it's the way it is today. That's best I can describe it. I'm not getting to any of the hitting here. Just it's going to be either Logan Webb or nothing.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
And here we go. What do we got? We have. This could be this could now is San Diego. Where? What's the playoffs in this situation?
They're out of it. They're basically they're done.
Okay.
The Dodgers are, but this is, I mean, look, to them, the beating the Dodgers, knocking the Dodgers out means just as much as it does to them.
Okay.
It's a big thing. It's a rivalry that's created entirely in their own minds, but it means a lot to them. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just, that's the truth. It's appropriately disrespectful in my opinion. I absolutely love Buehler tonight. Personally, I feel like I'm missing something when it comes to him. This is the easiest. I mentioned that was a good K prop bet, the 5.5. I will take Buehler. Buehler at 4.5 is one of the dumbest ones I've seen this season. I really like Buehler, and I have no interest in Darvish really. I actually think, and I think his K prop, there's an easy under 6.5. I don't think he strikes at 6.5, 7 guys more often here at all. I actually think that there is an argument to be made for at least a mini Dodgers stack here. And I think that it's something that you might want to, maybe if you're just playing the late games or something, but because the prices are so high. But honestly, it's really just that the prices are high. I think also, I want a little payback, and I love Darvish, and I felt really bad for him the way he got criticized, but he did, even against the cheaters, we still should have won that World Series, but he gave up like 50 runs in 2 innings and twice. I mean, we did it twice or whatever. I'm sort of into the little bit of the mini Dodger side of it, and no interest in Darvish, high on Buehler, and that's where I stand.
Yeah, I'm totally into Buehler here. Totally not into Darvish, but definitely into Buehler as one of those guys. The problem is that there's not even a problem. Okay, he's normally he's like that 15% owned guy.
Less. He was like 3% owned on a bunch of slates. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. I don't know where he's going to come in tonight. But if you get him at 10%, just because people still think San Diego's good for some reason. Not for some reason, you know what I mean. I'll try it. I'm totally in there. So I'll take some Buehler. I will throw it into the ownership hopper and see what comes out. And then with I'm not playing anything.
Yeah. Huge games. Those games, the Dodgers and Giants. Unfortunately, the Giants get to play Arizona 3 times in a row. It's going to be very hard to pass that team. Anyway, I think the Dodgers bats are just if you're getting crushed and you have the Giants, actually it's not going to matter. Something like that. If you're getting crushed and you have a Rockies stack and your 2 first pitchers get hit, you can switch those over to the Dodgers. And I think you can, like, it doesn't feel good, but you're probably, if your pitchers have like 5 fantasy points and they cost 10K, you're probably not going to make it anyway. So maybe that's when you decide to play the Dodgers. I do think there's a breakout spot for them here potentially. I just don't know if I can do it on this slate. Now we have Bassett against Seattle, and I don't have an official pitcher for Oakland. Do you?
I have Bassett and Anderson. That's what
I'm sorry.
I don't know if it's not official or anything like that. That's what I happen to have.
So I think Anderson is who you get mixed up with Alexander. Is that right?
Yes, the two Andersons, right, or something.
Well,
I don't know.
There's Tyler Anderson, Tyler Alexander. They're both lefties who have a similar.
Who's the guy from Philly? Is there a Philly guy also? Another Alexander, an Anderson?
There might be a Scott. I don't know if there is a Philly one. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I know there's Ian Anderson, but that's not who I meant.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's Jethro Tull. I'm not to screw that.
Yeah, I think that this is not really a game that I'm especially excited about in any form. How about you?
No, except for Bassett. If he pitches, I mean, I've gotten him wrong many times this season. I get one more chance to get him right. I mean, he's against Seattle. He's 8,500. They could let him go for 110 pitches for no reason, like anybody else, right?
No, because he just came back from an injury.
He did.
He just started against this team and pitched 3 innings effectively, and they pulled him after 3.
Okay. All right.
I don't think he's in play.
All right. So then all right, fair enough. Actually, I didn't even have him on my list. I don't know why I thought.
No. I mean, in general, like for a guy at 8,500 who was good for us early in the year, I just think it's, he's coming back from the injury and they're just trying to, I don't know actually what they're trying to do, to be honest. All right. So I have a pretty, considering we have a giant slate, I've got a pretty concise list of teams that I really want to stack. I have the Red Sox, Twins, and Colorado, with Colorado being my favorite. No shocker, but I'm probably gonna have to mix it up because we can't play heavy chalk in baseball. And then I have the get weird teams as being the White Sox, Washington, Dodgers. And I got to be a little bit interested in potentially your mini, like it wasn't your mini Reds idea. You said the Votto thing. I think that maybe there's like a little bit of an argument to be made because Ronaldo Lopez can lead balls over the plate. And these Reds have some power, especially Votto. But put Schrock in there, who I believe in and I think is going to be a good player, who's 2.3K. So something like that is a way maybe you can get a little different. And then maybe going back, if I would have gone through the whole slate first, maybe we do consider, hey, look, if we have some extra money to spend, we can play, like you said, a Vlad Guerrero, a Judge, certainly a Giancarlo Stanton, while he's completely on fire right now. So all those guys as one-offs and stuff like that, but they're going to be mixed in with heavy Boston, heavy Colorado, heavy Minnesota for me.
DraftKings, pitching, I will just reiterate this. Sale, Woodruff, Singer, Wheeler, Bueller, Webb, Morton, Alexi, Lopez, Wainwright, Urquidy, all in my player pool. With the hitting, Colorado's the top option. Then for me, Angels and Boston next, followed by Minnesota, then Washington and Chicago. FanDuel, Singer's the top for me. Then Sale, Woodruff, Morton, Wheeler, the same guys. Then Colorado is top hitting option. Then Boston, Minnesota, Angels again. Washington, and the one team that showed up on FanDuel for me that didn't really get there on DraftKings for whatever it was, Houston. So that's where I'm at for now, and we will. I'm definitely gonna be available live later to go through it again.
Yeah, I have my 5. I'm using 5 pitchers. I think potentially 6 if I want to use some Sale. But I have and Sale. I don't even have much beneath them. I just think that we're talking about guy who hasn't really given us the same upside these guys have in since he's come back from an injury. Although this could be a spot where they let him go. Same time, he had 1 strikeout against this team in 5 innings. But Woodruff, Webb, Wheeler, Morton, and Bueller are my guys. There's some other guys that are rating out well that other people are going to talk about a lot today. I think Alexi is interesting. I don't understand. I get it with Singer. I just think it's bizarre that everyone wanted to stack against him when he was 5,200. Now they all want to play him at 8,300. Just kind of.
Is he going to be popular? Are people playing him?
I don't know. I'm just looking at some different rankings people have, okay. and he's pretty high on the list.
Okay.
But Webb and Woodruff certainly look to be the 1 and 2 if you're like playing a cash game lineup.
And you know what? They'll game log watch. By the way, they just saw that Singer, just complete game these guys. In his last, 7 innings, but still that's good enough.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, just to give you people the Cy Young odds, it looks like it's almost for sure going to be Scherzer or Burns, which is sort of what I thought. Scherzer's minus 163, Burns is plus 108. Everybody else is next is Walker Buehler at plus 1650.
What about the other league?
So for the American League, it's pretty easily, I think, going to end up being Robbie Ray. Garrett Cole would be the other one.
Hey, good for him, man.
For Robbie Ray?
Yeah,
absolutely, man. This is a guy for 2 years. All we talked about was picking on him, and now he's really, and everybody in DFS. First of all these people who look at advanced numbers, I just want to say, a lot of these people don't know as much about baseball as they think they do. They say, "Oh, look how lucky he got with stranded runners. How is he leaving this high stranded runner percentage? How is he doing this?" I'm like, because he strikes everybody out, and his strikeout percentage goes up with runners on base because he knows he has to strike people out. That's a sign of a good pitcher, not a sign of a guy getting flukishly lucky. You know what I mean? Right. It's really, really crazy. He walks some guys, sure, but he also strands a ton of runners. Anyway, all right. Well, let's finish this up. And Sheets, do you want to do a quick early football look?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, good luck to everybody tonight. Let's crush it. I'll have my picks and everything uploaded, all my ownerships and everything on True DFS. And let's have some fun today. Good luck, everybody.
Sounds good.